G'day guys, it's Jake here. Nothing in this video is financial advice. Please do your own research when it comes to investing. Please sure check out my links below, including exchanges I use and social media content that I post. All right, let's go. So another weekly video, checking back what's sort of going on out there in the world of crypto and the stock market, etc. But I sort of want to focus this video more so on Ethereum, some altcoins. So let's jump into this video. So first up, we're looking at into crypto versus crypto market cap and trend line as a whole. That's the entire asset class where we're sort of sitting at the current point in time. And we are undervalued by 7.5%. Sitting at coin market cap is 4.04 trillion, okay? And yeah, and this trend just keeps going higher and higher and higher, and this red line is sitting at 4.377. So we're slightly undervalued, okay? And we're being under this red line. I poked the head above it a couple of times this cycle. See, back in March of 2024, you poke a head above it, then went back down below it, and poked the head above it again in May, back below it, and stayed sort of durably underneath, and then until end of that year. And end of 2024, we poked the head above it again, going to January this year. Then if I zoom out, I've been back below it again. So been stuck. There's been a huge resistance line for the whole market cap in the crypto market. And usually when you see it really take off, like this 2017 cycle, you shot up really high and boom, broke through it without worrying the world. Because it was blow up the whole time, all right, for the bear market here. Same as 2021, but it did poke its head above it in 2019. Okay, so it go overvalued and got to this sort of mid-cycle top before selling back off and go back down. Poked its head above it again, slightly here, early 2020, and then we had the pandemic. Okay, stayed below it, then broke through durably and sustainably into its first peak, then second peak, which is the final top. And the cycle before that was 2013, and we did get breakthrough durably at the first peak in early that year, second peak later in the year. So similar to 2021. Well, that was 2011. But yeah, look, it has some fake outs, okay? So you get fake outs like this one here too. 2012, went above it, and went back down. So it's not the most reliable indicator, okay? But when we see this break again, I do see this being like an absolutely parabolic move like we got here, okay? In 2021, 2017, 2013 and 2011. So really will break through durably and not retest, just go straight through and go absolutely bananas. Because it's tried a couple of times, like I told you before, and it's just struggling. So it is a matter of time before it happens. And it's suggesting that we hit a $45 trillion market cap by the end of this year, sort of thing. I don't see that happening at all. This is a bit outrageous, probably close to 10 trillion is where I sort of see it going. Current at 4, so a little bit more than a double. That'll get us to about 10 trillion, okay? That's that one. Next one is the Altseason index. Okay, so this is on CoinGlass. It's a good resource. This website, it's got some good charts if you want to access for basically nothing. So jump on CoinGlass and check it out for yourself. So at the moment, we're sitting sort of in this sort of scale of things, 78 on the Altseason index. And we're sort of up here. That one is last updated, but this is like we're actually here, not up the top. You zoom back in a little bit. It says we're up the top, but I don't think that's accurate according to this scale here. And usually we get these sort of moves up to the altcoin season, like early 2018, May, June was like an alt season, and sort of right towards the end of that old season, and then we fell off the bear market. Had these sort of pokes above. And again, 2019 and 2020. 2021 alt season. Then into the bear market. You do have your bear market alt season rallies as well. So don't think it happens every post-halving year. It happens in the bear year as well. In 2018 and 2022. And, we did it back in end of 2024, of course. start of this year. Sorry, start of 2024. Sorry. And then, going into September. So I've had a quite altcoin outperformance against Bitcoin. And it's suggested in this chart. Okay. So look, we'll see where that one goes. I have no idea if we stay up here sustainably or we get a pullback. I'm leaning more towards a pullback because I do think Bitcoin dominance is going higher. So it could pull back to the halfway or go all the way down. I don't know. Usually when it pulls back down to Bitcoin season, okay? So it goes up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Just touched it down. So it always goes to the bottom, okay? So if it's going to go back down to Bitcoin season, it's going to happen quite soon, I think, in my opinion, next couple of months. We'll see Bitcoin take over. And then that'll be Bitcoin's rally into the final peak, and then altcoins will catch up. Okay, so Bitcoin needs to lead the way, then Ethereum will be the second one after that, then the altcoins. All right, so watch this chart closely, but I do see it's falling back down to Bitcoin season next couple of months. Crypto fear and greed. So we're sitting at 49. Okay, show you here 49, neutral sort of territory, and we're sort of hovering around here. It's nothing special and quite boring. Okay, so there's nothing to really say with this chart, but he's sort of heading lower. Highs are getting slightly lower, and the lows going from 53 down to 39. So we're getting lower lows on the short term. So seeing a bit of a correction in fear and greed. Yeah, we'll see what happens there. But that materializes into down these levels. We get the below the 20s and the teens. Back in the part we've got the tariff scare situation going on here. So will be another scare going in the end of the year before we have a rally, or we'll just bottom out in the middle range and sort of find its low at 39 and go higher. Who knows? It really depends on Bitcoin. What Bitcoin does, its price action, whether we go back down to 100K again, or we hover around the 110s and then just go up higher from there. That is depending on Bitcoin's price. As we get this reading, see what happens there in the sentiment of the market. Now we'll talk about ETH, all right, this time around. We're inside this triangle. We go in the daily time frame. That's a bit better. You can see that this is a symmetrical triangle pattern as we've gone up from that low, June, bang. Obviously back before that was April lows. And we're consolidating, we're squeezing inside of this triangle, suggesting that we're going to get some volatility kick coming in. Will it break down or up is the question. I'm leaning more towards what's happened historically. Okay, so if I go on the weekly time frame, sort of show you what happens here. So this bull market support band, this green and red, I've talked about in most of my videos, and the moving average is this 50-week moving average is not as important, but this bull market support band is more important. I'll hide the 50-week to demonstrate this. So in every post-halving year, okay, I go back to the last one, 2021, Swyftx chart. In the month of September, we usually get a pullback, okay, in September. Yeah, so here, once it pulls back, retests it, and then makes its final peak. All right, at the top here, yeah. That's that one. Terrible drawing, of course. I'm not very good with the tools. And then we did back in 2017, okay, that cycle. We touched the bull market support band here. Okay, and then the final cycle peak. Top, all right. So it did in 2017, okay, and in 2021, those both post-halving years. It's Altseasons. Now you can sort of, this was, the period was the halving year, so you can't really compare it here, but in September we sort of have hovered around these areas, okay, as you can see here, around September, we find this sort of support here. On this occasion, we got a sort of dead cat bounce, and that fell below it. So, see in 2016 that we did see some support for short term before we got a bounce. Now we got a capitulation low, okay, and that was sort of end of that year. And then Get up to 2017. And I said, there's your retest. Boom. So, it likes to either, the month of September is usually a bearish month, right? So we could have a low in early September, we did 2019, and then rally up into sort of late September, and then still get a low candle on the weekly that closes below. And that was obviously when it was a smaller market cap back then. But September is usually, for 2019, pretty bearish there. Obviously 2018, September, got the same sort of thing. We had a low in early September, okay? We rallied up into late September, and then we still went lower, okay? Into October. Happened sort of same as 2019, okay? Candles up and then down throughout September. Quite interesting. This one was a bit different. 2017, where it actually just found a high in August. Actually, sort of early September, went up, and then, it didn't really go lower than that. So 2017 was a bit different, okay? Now see 2016, where it got here in late August, sort of rallied up to late September. And then early October, we started going down, okay? That's that one. And over in 2020, all right, so interesting to see in 2020, we found, a low, right here, right at the end of August. Okay, so we did get close to touching the bull market support band, but we didn't quite touch it. Got a rally up into mid-September, and then went back down, okay? Late September, and then we went higher. So it's quite a common pattern for Ethereum to do this. It doesn't happen all the time, but you can see here in 2020, 2019, and 2018, this played out. Took a bit longer in 2016. It went sort of to here late September, and it went down. We didn't go lower, okay? We sort of made a higher low here, okay? You can see here in 2016. And back to 2017, we actually found a low in mid-September. So finding a high, we found a low, and then that was it. So it played a little bit different in 2017. And obviously back to 2021, had a high in mid-September. And went back down in late September. Higher high at the end of the cycle peak. 2022, happened in 2022, we found a low in sort of late August, early September to mid-September. We sort of rallied up, and then it found a low into that later part of September. So, similar to what happened in 2019 and 18, okay? And a bit like 2020 as well. Then we go to 2023, okay? We had a sort of a bit different, all sort of similar, but, a little bit different. So it traded sideways this whole time in September. It didn't go anywhere. So it was just choppy. It made a high here in late September, but ultimately came back down in October. And then boom, took off. 2024, a low in early September, a rally into sort of mid to late September, and then another low here in late September, and October, then a high up here. It's very similar things playing out here, what Ethereum's done. Now we're sort of at the crossroads here. We've had a low in early September here. This candle gone high up into mid-September. Okay. Will we find another low in late to early October and then go higher? So that's what I'm sort of thinking it's going to play out based on the historical patterns. Okay. And get to its full market support band, retest it, and then make its final cycle peak. Okay. And we'll have a quick look at risk for look at MACD first. We're getting sort of really overbought here, and looks like it wants to cool off before going higher. So we'll see what happens to the MACD there. On the weekly, it's looking like it wants to curl back down. We're overbought, and yeah, so that plays out. Obviously, got the risk metric, which looks to be pointing back down. As you can see here, it's like back to 51, and we could see it cool off, then boom. That's for Bitcoin risk, but Ethereum really follows Bitcoin quite a bit. So, yeah, this is an important metric to watch as well. And that's pretty well it for Ethereum. And you got alt Ethereum pairs, which I want to look at really quickly. So altcoins against Ethereum, and they are rallying since sort of mid to late August sort of thing. When ETH topped, altcoins bottom against ETH short term, and they have found a rally. and this bull market support band is up here somewhere. So I do see it's coming up to here when ETH finds its correction. Okay, ETH finds its correction back to 3,500. I showed you before. This will rally on the back of this correction, right? And then alts will reject. Probably go lower down to here as ETH just goes ballistically higher. Just smashes its all-time high, makes new all-time, makes ridiculous heights, 5,000, 6,000, wherever it goes after it goes into price discovery. Alts will actually underperform ETH on that move. But the time to buy altcoins, all right, if you want to know, is when it gets to this point, okay? Because you want it to find their bottom, okay? And this ETH will outperform them. That's on the upside. If ETH's doing really well to the upside, alts aren't going to go much lower on the USD pairs, but on the ETH pairs, they're going to underperform. But you want to position yourself early before we get to this point because they'll be going up on the USD pairs when this goes down, okay? Because ETH's dragging them up with it, okay? ETH going higher, USD pair, alt coins will sort of catch up a little bit, but not quite outperform ETH. So there's that one there. They're going to Twitter post here by Whale Guru. These are top charts you should buy. So, you want to, regardless of what the other metrics say, the best time to buy altcoins is when you look at their charts individually, seeing that, the bottoms look like this. They're really low. It looks like an accumulation pattern, and they made nice highs, and then they come back down, and they reaccumulate and then go higher. So these are the best sort of charts you want to use to buy your altcoins. Now we'll finish up on Dex Screener. These are the ones I'm really watching the cycle. So I'm not hiding anything. I'm not talking about them a lot on this channel. But I will be when this bull market gets going for sure. You've got to show your bags, as they say. And probably make dedicated videos to each, so they get their own spotlight. But I don't know if I see quite clearly. I've got to click into them. Really quickly have a quick look at them. Okay. So you can see what's going on. And this one here, as you can see, this chart, it's got this accumulation pattern. It's high up here. And it's got to come back down. And it's accumulating to go higher. Yeah. As I showed you on this chart, it's had its high. And we're sort of in this choppiness phase. We're at this point. We're at the very lows. How low can you go? I've drawn this support line at 10 million market cap. Now I look to add some more down here next week. Seeing what price action does, it should sort of stay down here until ETH finds its bull market support band and goes higher. Meantime, I'm just going to wait too, and this thing curl up. Bullish. Okay, as well. So this coin is fantastic. Senji, a great buying opportunity in these areas. Fantastic buying opportunity. Go back to the watch list again. Lofi's another good one. We're getting there, getting close, but not quite there yet, in my opinion. I want to see this down at like 7 million, back at where it found support in April. I reckon we're going to get there. When ETH goes down to its bull market support band, as I mentioned, ETH will drag them down, okay? Yes, they'll outperform ETH, the downside, but some of these micro caps like this is very, very small. You get outliers that actually underperform. Okay, so not everything will outperform ETH on the downside, but yeah, you just got to look at some price action to see, okay, where can we go? This could be the low. This could be it. This could be a higher low. We can go higher, or we could go a little bit lower. So be patient there. I'll go on the 3-day real quickly. And this looks to be pointing downwards. And we're seeing the MACD curl down, sort of momentum thing. And this SMI indicator looks like it's pointing down. And it looks sort of bearish, in my opinion. And then we should see another. And then boom. As we go down and we find the low, this will be an amazing buying opportunity. And that's it. So we're buying this coin when it gets down to here. We're not quite there yet. We're almost there. But even if you just don't want to miss out, you can start DCAing down. But it's up to you what you want to do. Not financial advice. Lofi, Ski. And obviously these aren't in particular order. What I like best, what my conviction is. But, yeah. Either way, see what happens. So this one's got a low here. And I do see this breaking, okay? When this low gets broken, be pretty aggressive. This candle goes down, and it won't be fun, but you need to find its low. Either down here, the 20 million market cap mark, we found support back in late 2024, or will we find support here at like 28 million. So we could go a little bit lower or down here. Anywhere between like 30 to 20 million is probably a good buying range. And I'll be looking at snapping up some ski. Okay. And then boom. I showed you before the Wild Guru chart. You get your highs, right? And they go lower and they accumulate. This chart is, this highs, lower high, bang, accumulation area, then boom. Don't miss these ones. If you do your own research, find coins that you like, look for these patterns, okay? Very crucial. Bobo, when it loads up, is another one I'm very highly convicted on. Okay, we're getting a nice, wow, look at that candle on the weekly. Absolutely brutal. The downside. We broke this trend line going upwards. Okay. I'm not going to do any further TA on Fibonacci's and stuff, but there was a Fibonacci pattern I was tracking. And that's why I sort of thought this high matches with the Fibonacci retracement level, plus its downward sloping trend line. Okay, and let's look at this momentum's going down. We're breaking the zero level and we're going into bearish territory. So we'll just find a low at 21 or we go a bit lower to 12. Like I said, you can DCA the way down. As long as you know that this should hold, depending on what ETH does, Ethereum, USD pair. Okay, if it goes back to bull market support band, that's when you want to be checking in on these coins because this is an ETH meme on the Ethereum chain, as you can see up here. So yeah, this is Ethereum. This is a great coin to pick up, in my opinion, not financial advice. Yeah, these two levels I'm watching for on this coin to buy in. Now, one more coin is Benny, which is a smaller coin, but the smallest of the list. We are below $1 million market cap. And yeah, this one here has found its high. Okay, gone lower, accumulated, and then boom. So it shows this before here. These are the things you want to see, yeah? That's what you want to see on these altcoins, is seeing a massive high, like absolute parabolic move. It's 29 to 10 million, so it's not a big move, compared to all the other ones I was looking at. Hundreds of millions market caps. This is only up to 10, but who knows what it can do, As long as you're buying these areas, which I look to probably pick up a little bit more in this box. As ETH goes down, this will come down a little bit more, and then before it going higher. So don't be freaked out. Don't be scared. All right, when ETH has its correction and it's all over and done with, you get super bullish. Yeah, at the point now, you've got to wait for these things to play out. We are in sort of a triangle consolidation pattern, so we're almost done. The most pain is nearly behind us, and the fun and the gains are ahead of us. So that's the way I look at this one. All right, so that is that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Just going over different things like the total crypto market cap, seeing it's below its fair regression band, fair value. It's down like 7.5%, I believe, for its middle line. And so undervalued a little bit there. And we have poked ourselves above it a couple of times this cycle, but haven't durably broken above to lead into the final cycle peak. So that's that one. Looked at the altcoin season index as well. See that we are in alt season on the index, as alt are outperforming Bitcoin and Ethereum as well. I showed you on the charts, outperforming Ethereum since late August. It makes sense why we're getting this alt season indicator triggering, but we're not in alt season yet because, you look at the charts. These altcoins are still down to the very lows. They're closer to their lows than they are their highs, which suggests that we're not in alt season, okay? That's quite simply that. And yeah, just looking at fear and greed, seeing that we sort of are trending down on the fear and greed index. We sort of are in neutral territory, so nothing to be freaked out about just yet. And that's that one. And look at ETH USD and its history, what it does in September, October time frame, and seeing it's pretty consistent what it does. Not all the time, but usually finds a high in mid-September and then comes back down in late September, October. Sometimes it makes a high in early September and comes back down to late September, or it makes its low in mid-September and goes higher. It depends. It's mid-September or late September. Somewhere towards October is historically a good time to buy Ethereum, okay? Every year in October, minus the post-halving years, of course, because, well, it depends. 2017 was good, but 2021 it was close to the peak. So that was probably not a good time. Anyway, so I'm just showing you sort of what plays out there, the price action, seeing that historically we get a correction into the bull market support bands in September, October timeframe. So, yeah, when this plays out, it'll be the best time to buy your favourite altcoins, and that's what I'll be doing, waiting for this to play out. And ETH gets to 35, 3,600. I don't really care. Somewhere around there, it's close enough for me. As long as it's below $4,000, it'll be great to get in to your favourite altcoins. And they're the best, last, final, lowest time to get into them for especially the old ETH pairs. I showed you on the chart. That gets to it shoots up to its bull market support band and rejects off that. ETH will outperform altcoins once it hits its bull market support band, USD pair, and go higher, make new all-time highs. Go for the moon, go for the stars, go for wherever you want to go. It's price discovery. It's space travel, and then that money will flow into altcoins after it breaks its all-time high. Okay, ETH USD pair, and so you position yourself accordingly. Do your own research. Find the coins you like best. Have a high conviction. Don't invest as much money as you're willing to lose because they are risky. I've showed you ones I'm picking, ones I'm sort of sticking with and watching and waiting for price levels on. But pick your own or follow me. It's up to you. Yeah, do your own research. I'm not a financial advisor. So if you like this video, please smash the like. Comment your thoughts below. Subscribe to stay updated. Be sure to check out the links below. And I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.